Hello everybody and welcome to another episode. In today's episode I am going to show you how to properly remove any place, the rear brake disc and also the rear brake pads from any BMW E60 or E61 5 Series out there. So today I am working on this vehicle which is made in the year 2005, but the year is not important because the steps which you have to do and follow are exactly the same from the earliest models to the latest models. Right here in these boxes I have the brand new brake pads and also the brand new brake discs which are made by the manufacturer ATE, and in my opinion the manufacturer ATE is the best out there which you can buy for your car and for any other vehicle out there. So with all of these things being said, the first thing which you have to do is to go inside the vehicle. You'll have to put the manual handbrake into the service mode, and to do so you'll have to go into the car. You'll have to push one little spring from the handbrake all the way through until it will lock in place by a metal pin, and after that the handbrake will move very freely up and down. And as you can see in my case, I already did it. I detached the handbrake from the rear side, and as you can see right here, it is the little spring which I pushed all the way through the back until it was automatically locked in place by a metal pin. And after you finish putting the manual handbrake into the service mode, you can go and work on the rear side. You can just remove the brake pads, the brake disc. Just make sure to undo completely the little screw from the handbrake from inside the brake disc to be able to remove the brake disc out from the vehicle. And after you finish doing all of these things, you can install all the parts back over the vehicle. You can install the new brake pads, the new brake disc. You'll have to adjust it a little bit until you feel that it's scratching over the brake disc. And then you have to come back right here inside the car. You'll have to remove the little spring. You'll have to detach it from the service mode. And then the handbrake will work perfectly fine like it was from the factory. And right here on the left side, on the rear, I already finished replacing the brake pads and also the brake disc. And I have the old ones right here on the ground. And right here, as you can see, the rear brake pads were still in a very good condition, but the owner of the vehicle told me to replace them anyway and install new ones into their place. And this one from right here is the rear brake disc, which is not too worn out on the exterior, but is very worn out on the interior where the handbrake is going to be applied. So from here, I will go on the other side. I'm going to remove the rear wheel, I'm going to lift the vehicle up, and then I'm going to show you all step by step what you have to do from here. After you finish removing the rear wheel, the first thing which you have to do is to go right here into the middle of the caliper, and right inside the brake disc, it will be the adjusting screw for the pressure of the handbrake. You'll have to undo it completely to release the pressure from the brake disc, and only then you can go ahead, you can remove the caliper and the brake disc completely out from the vehicle with the pressure released. If you don't remove the pressure from the brake disc, which is inside the brake disc caused by the handbrake, you won't be able to pull out the brake disc, and because of that you can damage the brake drums and the little springs from inside it. So just make sure to undo it completely like I'm doing right here, and after that you can start moving forward with the job and remove the rest of the parts which you have to remove from the rear side. As you can see in my case, the pressure is released completely, the rear brake disc is moving freely, and right now I'll have to remove this anti-rattle spring which is mounted over the caliper. You'll have to use a flat screwdriver to push it out from its place, and then right here in the back you'll have to remove the two plastic cups which are mounted over the screws which are securing the caliper attached to the caliper mounting bracket. And in my case, as you can see, both of them are removed. And after that you'll have to use an H7 to remove the bolts which are securing the caliper attached to the caliper mounting bracket. After you finish removing the two screws which are securing the caliper attached to the caliper mounting bracket, you'll have to use a flat screwdriver. You'll have to pull it a little bit forward like I'm doing right here to release the pressure from the piston, and then just pull it out from the carrier. You'll have to remove the brake pads like I'm doing right here. You will also have to remove the brake pad wear sensor, and if it's damaged you'll have to replace it with a brand new one. In my case it's not damaged, so I can reuse it with the brand new brake pads. Also, if the caliper is made by aluminum like in my case it is, you can just let it hang over the brake line because it's not very heavy. But if the caliper is heavy, I recommend you all to tighten it with some zip ties or something like that over the suspension parts, and not let it hang over the brake line to not damage the brake line. After that, you have to move forward. You have to remove the two bolts which are securing the caliper mounting bracket attached to the subframe. And in my case, I'm using my impact gun because it's very easy and fast in this way. And then the caliper mounting bracket will be out like it is in my case. You have to clean it. And from here, the next thing which you have to do is to remove the little screw which is securing the brake disc attached to the hub on the rear side. You'll have to remove it, and then you have to pull out the brake disc. And right now it's a very good idea to check the parking brake shoes, and if they are worn out, you'll have to replace them with brand new ones. In my case, the parking brake shoes are looking very good, they are not worn out, so I can just clean the area and install the new brake disc over it. On this vehicle, from what I can see, everything is looking very nice and very smooth. The rear hub is looking very good, and in my case, I don't have to use a wire brush on the rear hub because it's looking in a very good condition. I only have to put some copper paste over it to prevent it from getting rusted in the future, and also from getting seized to the brake disc in the future. And after that, I only have to clean the caliper mounting bracket with a wire brush, and also I'll have to clean the caliper, and I'll have to push the piston from the caliper back into the caliper with a special tool, or in some cases you can also use a flat screwdriver while it's mounted over the brake disc to pull it forward, and eventually it will be pushed back into the caliper. And right now, from this moment, you have to install all the parts back over the vehicle like we dismantled everything earlier. Just do everything but in reverse. Okay everybody, so as also the piston from the caliper is pushed all the way in, everything is prepared and ready to be installed back over the vehicle. I already installed the caliper mounting bracket over the car, and from here I'll have to install back the brake pads and also the brake pad wear sensor and the caliper over it. One very important thing which I recommend you all to do after you finish pushing the piston back into the caliper is to go into the engine compartment. You'll have to check for the brake fluid reservoir, and you have to check the level for the fluid. If the level is under minimum, you'll have to add brake fluid. Normally it's 0.4, but if it's over maximum, you'll have to remove a little bit of brake fluid just to make sure that it will not split over it and came out from the fluid reservoir. Okay everybody, so as you can see, the caliper, the brake pads and the brake disc are all installed back over the vehicle. Everything is working and looking very nice. And from here, the next thing which you have to do is to adjust the handbrake power. You have to turn the brake disc, and if you see that it's spinning very easy, you have to turn the little adjusting screw from the middle like I told you earlier. You have to adjust it with a screwdriver, and you have to turn it clockwise until it will put pressure over the brake disc. And normally there is no need to put a lot of pressure over the brake disc. After you see that the brake disc is moving a little bit harder, or after you see that the brake disc is creating noise because it's moving over the parking brake shoes, this is meaning that the parking brake shoes are adjusted correctly. You can just let it like this, and you have to go into the car. You'll have to take the manual handbrake from the service mode, and then the handbrake will work perfectly fine. So as you can see, in my case, the pressure is correct. In my case, I will let it like this. It's moving not very easy and also not very hard. I can just move it by hand. And from here, I will go into the car, I will take it from the service mode, and then I will call it a day. Alright everybody, so right here from inside the vehicle, As you can see, the handbrake is still into the service mode, it's not working at all. The lever is moving up and down very easy. And right now on this spring, I will have to use a flat screwdriver or something sharp to release from the little metal clip which is securing it in place. You'll have to push the metal clip out and then the parking brake will be released and it will work normally. In my case, the little metal clip is released, and now if I let the handbrake down, it will automatically grab and it will work like normally. And from here, normally everything should be working like from the factory. And if you see that on your car, for example, the parking brake is not holding how it's supposed to be holding, you'll have to remove the rear wheels, you'll have to adjust the screw a little bit more to put pressure over the parking brake shoes, and then you have to check it again and see if it's working or not. With all of these things being said, those are all the things and all the steps which you have to do and follow if you want to replace the parking brake shoes, or if you want to replace the brake pads or the brake discs from this kind of vehicle. Thank you all for watching. If you like the video and found it informative, please subscribe to my channel, give me a comment and a like down below. See you next time.